Hi everyone, welcome to my social justice project. I found this assignment really encouraging because there are so many ways to involve students, even very young students, in the view that every person deserves to enjoy the same social rights, regardless of ethnicity, socioeconomic status, gender, or any other characteristic. Teaching social justice in the classroom is critical for preparing children to become responsible global citizens that take care of each other. The article I chose to read was titled "Making All Children Winners: Confronting Social Justice Issues to Redeem America's Soul," and it was published in the Journal of Educational Administration. The article discussed the importance of engaging students, parents, teachers, school leaders, and communities as equal partners in the quest for quality education for all. Leadership should come from the collective community wisdom, not just by one person alone at the top of a chain of command. There needs to be space where the least powerful, the most often silenced, can speak and be listened to. Quality education must be viewed as a civil right for all of America's children. The problems that plague the underserved population of students is a responsibility of society as a whole. In a country such as ours that places value on freedom and justice for all, quote, "None of our children are free until all are free of inferior education. All students must learn social responsibility, what it means to be a citizen of the nation and of the world," end quote. Disenfranchised communities must advocate for themselves a quality education, dispelling the myth that families of color or those living in poverty don't value education, because they do. Families of all kinds must be made central to the academic system, and school leaders must listen to and accept the wisdom of the community. Children and their families must be at the center of school change and decision-making. The article asks the important question of whether or not we should be allowing legislators, district administrators, school principals, textbook publishers, and the like to solely be the ones making decisions about what could be argued as the most important journey our children will take. Why are those people alone determining the educational curriculum for other people's children? Part of the article discussed the best ways to engage students in equitable education reform, and one important point was to have students take the lead. Students need to participate in the research process to become invested in a cause. If they aren't participating in finding information, they will not be nearly as dedicated to a reform. Students are the expert on their own experiences, and they should be able to share their perspective with various people who will listen: peers, families, school staff, and the community at large. In addition to gaining awareness, performing research, and sharing experiences, children need to work to find solutions to the challenges and problems facing their schools and communities that they discover. Another important aspect of engaging students is student exposition. In the culture of high-stakes testing, where the stress and nerves are all about taking that one big test, the opportunity for students to display personal work and ideas is extremely important. It is crucial to recognize achievement and success in terms other than merely a test score. Student-led initiatives are a great motivator and instill a great deal of pride and joy. The most impressive initiatives are relevant to the students, their backgrounds, their environment, and the setting of their school. I chose to focus on a second grade classroom because that is where I am hoping to land. And so for my second grade social justice project, there will be a couple of different stages and aspects to it. Number one will be the introduction. To get students thinking about justice in the world of education, I will have the class participate in an exercise demonstrating inequality. And then the next project will be If I Were, and students will think about equality issues and interview members of their family and community. Through this research, they will identify what others have experienced and what they value. Exposition. Students will share their thoughts and findings in an exhibit that various community members will be asked to attend. And then there's the extension. Students will take their activism one step further with planning a lunch combining students of various grades and backgrounds, providing meaningful conversation starters to open up a dialogue between them. We will begin with an opening activity designed to get students thinking about equality in resources and the effect on achievement. Half the class will be given unlimited art supplies to create a piece of artwork to display, while the other half of the class will be given just one crayon and a piece of notebook paper. The groups will switch places so that they can experience both sets of circumstances. I'll tell the students that their artwork will be on display so that they can showcase their talents. An alternate activity would be to use Legos to convey a similar message. You could break the class into small groups with a pile of Legos and ask that they copy the Lego structure you are displaying for them or that you have built. And some students would be given just the Legos without any restrictions. Other groups might be forced to wear mittens or a blindfold or only have the use of tongs. There's a variety of methods or tools you could employ here. And this would drive home the point equally well as that the point of fairness or the lack thereof. I will get students' reaction to the activity by engaging them in an open discussion, asking questions such as, how did it feel to complete the project when you had only one crayon? And then, conversely, how did it feel with unlimited supplies? Is it fair for some students to have better materials than others? Which of your drawings do you like better? Would it be fair if my school had a brand new library full of wonderful books and your school had only a few used, tattered ones? And then after having that in-depth discussion, students will start on a project titled If I Were in Charge of Schools. And I would ask students to think about how we can make school fair and equal for everybody. I'd start the discussion about how all children have the right to a quality education. I would ask that students talk to parents, siblings, friends, or any other community member about their ideas on how we can ensure that all Americans receive a good education. Students will display their thinking and knowledge acquired from others and their own thoughts in a piece of art to be displayed. The title of their work will be If I Were in Charge of Schools, and it will include their ideas on how to ensure each child receives the schooling that they deserve. Students will have some freedom to decide how they would like to create their end product. Students could create a book, a poster, write poetry, or compose a short story. Really, whatever medium they feel most comfortable with in sharing their ideas. Through this activity, students can investigate how to create a better, more just world, examining issues of fairness, empathy, compassion, and what positive action could be taken. So the next phase would be the exposition, and students will display their work for parents, teachers, peers, and community members, personally inviting them to their exposition. I myself would personally place a phone call to each family asking them to attend and briefly explain to them the importance of our project. This exhibit will include the original drawings from the opening activity with both the plentiful and the minimal resources. And a discussion of how we can make education fair for all students will ensue with specific actions outlined. We will choose one action item as a group to brainstorm solutions to. When I was researching this topic, I came across an activity called Mix It Up, and it's a wonderful extension activity. It's a lunch which asks students to sit by someone they don't usually interact with at lunch and engage in a positive conversation. This activity does require a great deal of planning and support from various staff members and colleagues. 2 or 3 teachers from varying grade levels assist students with a planning group, and they assign tasks to be designated to different classrooms. So older students could be responsible for writing conversation starters, while younger students could be in charge of creating decorations. When it's time for the event, students are given something as they walk into lunch. This could be a color-coded card, a small piece of candy, a playing card, a letter, anything that would tell them which table they should seek out with the coordinating color or symbol, and they will know where to go based on that item that they receive. On the table would be starter questions, and there would be enough questions that would be so that we would avoid conversational lulls. Questions would be open-ended, allowing for elaboration, such as what's your favorite song, movie, book, sport, restaurant, etc., or ask students to describe something like their perfect home or their ideal day. Adults could help facilitate conversation, and we could reach into the community to call on volunteers, inviting school board members, community leaders, service club members, or others to take on this role for the day. The goals of Mix It Up is to encourage students to identify, question, and cross social boundaries, and this simple activity has been found to have a pretty profound impact. Another forward step in student activism could be a service club where students participate in a community event on a monthly basis that helps students cross social boundaries and work together for the greater good. My third grade daughter and I participate in a service club at her school, and they meet twice a month, pick a cause, and carry out various monthly service projects. We have provided grilled hamburgers and hot dogs to homeless people in the park, and we've put together bags of food for these individuals and families to take with them. We have participated in Rake Up Boise and gone to play bingo at the Veterans Home. So just having that direct contact with people whose lives are much different than my daughter's I know that it has broadened her perspective on social issues. Through these explorations and activities about fairness, I would hope to encourage social consciousness and compassion in my students. Here are my works cited, and that was my project. Thanks for listening.